Good afternoon. Hot day today as usual. We've been going through weeks and weeks of heat wave now. Luckily, at the time of this recording, we've gotten some cloud coverage, so it's nice and somewhat cool, but a bit humid. So I wanted to show you what's been happening with some of the tropicals and the heat. I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's the taro leaves here. I mean, this is basically all heat damage. The old ones anyway, but the young ones, for the most part, they're fine. I mean, you see some damage here and there, but beyond that, they're mostly fine. When it comes to the tropicals or the fruiting trees, I mean, it in many ways, if you look at it, it actually accelerates the ripening process for some of these. This is a jumbo perfume, wax jambu. So, the name really is not disappointing. I mean, it is really refreshing. It smells really good. But yeah. So, wanted to talk about another tropical that's quite easy to grow. Really easy to grow. Loves the heat. It has no issues at all with our heat, including direct sun, and more so, it also tolerates all winter. I mean, wintertime, it's gonna look like crap. The leaves will anyway, but the roots itself will generally bounce right back up. So that would be the bananas. Let me show you actually. So I have several varieties of bananas in my yard. Let's start off with this guy right here. This set of bananas. So what you see here is a clump of banana. It's actually just all from one root system. When we planted this guy, I want to say 2 years ago, it really was about this size right here, just from one stalk. And as it got established, it of course grew and produces multiple trunk systems. So with bananas, once it flowers and fruits, what you want to do is, there's actually a banana flower section that we've since taken out. But as soon as it stops developing fruit, and you could tell because, I mean, obviously these are not going to develop into, they're not going to get any larger. So what you want to do is then you want to cut down the blossom part of it, the flower. And in doing so, it actually sends most of the energy then back to the banana fruits to produce them, to make them bigger, essentially. And the blossom itself, the flower portion, it's actually edible. I mean, I've seen people cook with it. So at this point, what I normally like to do is I normally like to leave my bananas on the plant for as long as I can. But I mean, if I choose to, I simply could cut it out and then leave it on the countertop, and it will ripen over a period of time. So here's the thing though. Actually, let me show you. So once it produces banana, once it fruits, this particular stalk is no longer feasible in that it will naturally fall down on its own. But to accelerate that, what I do is, if you come over here, see this right here? This particular stalk did produce fruit last month. And of course, we took out the banana fruits, and I am in the process of cutting it down. So that's really what you want to do. Once one stalk produces fruit, after you harvest the fruit, you're going to want to cut down the stalk. Makes an excellent biomass. As you can see here, I mean, this is really just all banana stalk that I've put in here, and it's since been broken down. So if you want fruit production on your banana plants, you're not gonna want to see what I have here. You're gonna instead want only 3 to maybe 4 at the most stalks, because I mean it's having to share its energy and resources to all the different stalks here. As you can see, new one's growing here. So in the future, I'm going to be removing these 2 right here, and that's also how you would go about in propagating these bananas. So just basically just take a shovel and split the bananas up and dig them up and put them out. That's how you clone a banana plant. So this particular variety is a dwarf namois. It's really no higher than 12 feet tall. Quite fast grower. Banana plants are one of the tropicals that I don't have any issues with applying steer or cow manure. They love it. Just the problem I find with this manure is they might contain heavy metals, but banana seems to not mind. And bananas, they are heavy feeders, and also they are really thirsty plants. Which is why I've got them kind of back here towards the neighbor's side, just because they have a nice lush lawn, and of course it sucks the water from the spot. It's a win-win for everybody. So that's a namois. Coming back here, see this little guy right here. This is what this is the banana that you see in your typical grocery store. This is the Cavendish banana. Replacement of the Michel Gros banana back in the 50s, 60s when the Panama disease came in and killed practically most of the Michel Gros banana variety. So Cavendish is the replacement. This is what you see in the stores. Got one here. I'm actually going to be eventually moving him to a different spot, but yeah, they are quite easy to dig up and relocate. So, and of course, you know what, before I take you to the next set, let me show you. So bananas, this section right here used to be my my ice cream bean banana section. However, I did, of course, remove all of them to the best of my abilities. And instead of bananas, I've got various tropicals here. I mean, you know it's hot. This is off topic, but you know it's hot when even the almighty sugar apple tree is getting beaten down by the sun. Hence the shade cloth that I've got here. But yeah, this guy normally can take it, but I find that when it reaches 105 to 110 degrees, they need some help. Same with the Kaimito here. I mean, since putting on the shade, I mean, it's doing great. Of course, these, if you look at it, Malay apple, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, this guy can appreciate some shade. But at the same time, though, as you can see, I'm not too concerned about it, just because I do see a bunch of new growth coming out to replace the damaged leaves. Santal, of course, not an issue. This guy, the more sun, the more heat, the better it gets. So actually, let me, going back to bananas, let me kind of show you really quick what I was going with this. See that right there? In some ways, bananas are actually quite invasive species, in that all it takes is one little section of the roots that's left behind and they grow. This is actually the 7 or 8 sprout that I've since taken out right around the section. So I've been just plucking them out and they just keep growing back. I mean, they are, you really have to remove every single section. Otherwise, that's what you are going to get. So, bananas for you. So here's the main clump that I wanted to kind of discuss with you about. So the thing with bananas is I mean, you could technically container grow them, assuming that your container has a large surface area. Banana roots aren't deep. They would rather have a good surface area versus the depth of the growing soil. So essentially what you see here in this little section of my raised bed here are actually 3 different varieties of bananas. So first one, kind of a short little guy here. This is a goldfinger banana, originated or developed in Honduras. As you can see, a little pup next to it. The goldfingers, they're a bit on the smaller side. They when mature, the bananas themselves resemble mini baby bananas. So pretty cool looking. Guy right behind him is actually, let me see if I can get a different shot. Right here. Look at the foliage. Awesome looking. This is what's known as a Sumatrana X-class banana. Here's the main parent plant here. I'm actually just growing him just because it looks so nice. So the cool thing about that particular variety is it's actually a hybrid banana. It is a mixture of the Grand Nang banana as well as the blood banana. So produces edible bananas, of course. They're just a bit red in color. So I've got, well, the main one here, and of course this is a pup that shot up just a few weeks back. And the main stalks of banana, which we in the past tried to get rid of, but we could not because they keep growing back. These, this one, along with this one, and also that tall one back there. These are the ice cream bananas. Relatively tall. This is probably the tallest banana that I have in the yard. They actually generally reach about maybe 20 feet or so. Quite productive. But yeah, again, bananas, it's if you've noticed, they're growing all over the place. Here's a pup from the ice cream banana. Nice looking. And also from the foliage there, you could tell that's the Sumatrana X-class banana, which is the offshoot of this main guy right here. So yeah, bananas are, so the downside really, in my opinion, of having the bananas in our climate, especially in our situation that we're going through. I mean, the entire state of California is going through a drought right now. The only downside is they are thirsty plants. With trees and plants, generally the larger the leaves, the foliage, the more water it's gonna need because of the evaporation effect. I mean, these guys, if I say, for example, put a plastic bag over one of the foliage, I'm gonna be able to collect a lot of water. That's essentially how much these plants transpire. So that's why I've got them all clumped here, so that way I could kind of control the water intake. But they all seem to be doing nice here. I actually have them here just to provide some greenery as you know we sit here in the patio. But yeah, bananas, I mean, yeah. So this is unrelated, but I find this to be pretty cool. So the next evolution in growing your own food forest is to grow your own designer tropicals. Mango seedling here. I actually have a bunch of these. I've just got them really all over the place. But yeah, these are mango seedlings. I mean, I think it'd be cool once it starts fruiting. Of course, I'll need to upsize the container, but I mean, I think it'd be cool to have it right here with mango fruits hanging. So yeah, you know, speaking of mango fruits hanging, yeah, this is what's been happening with many of the mangoes. because of the heat. They're getting a good size now. Yep, of course the foliage is taking a beating, but beyond that, everything seems to be hanging on. I mean, even the Patengo tuba is seeing some sun stress, lots of insect activity pollinating the flowers. But yeah, so bananas just again, they are heavy feeders. You're gonna want to fertilize them quite often and quite a lot too. Takes a lot of water, so just be mindful of that. Can be an invasive plant if you put them in the ground, and if you want to eliminate them in the future, you want to take out every single roots that you could find that's associated with the banana. Otherwise, it will regrow. But beyond that, yeah, they are one of the most popular fruits. I mean, if you ask most grocery stores, the number one fruit that people buy are bananas, and they grow great here in the Central Valley. All right, have a good afternoon.